what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Lineage Break, a Grand Archive TCG podcast. I am one of your hosts, Cam, and with me, as always, is Steve.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
And with us, as not always, is Mark.
Fashionably late, as always.
Fashionably late. We're recording medium on time.
As
always,
late to the start, right? I mean,
late to start the show.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah, it's like what? It's episode
12.
12?
Yeah.
That's like
just late.
You've basically been here the whole time. You know, in the grand scheme of things, you know, you look at other shows that have been on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes, and everybody will be like, "Oh yeah, that Mark guy, he's been here from the beginning." Yeah. You know. As always, our show is brought to you today by Perfect Fit TCG. Our friends over there are selling Grand Archive singles. I think they're putting up Alter stuff soon. I know they had some like logistical issues with putting Alter up, but they should have Alter singles up soon. I think they still have sealed product as well, which is like kind of wild in this day and age to have sealed product.
I know. Every week I just like, do I just pull the trigger and buy a box?
I'm getting the itch, man. I'm getting it.
And for a good price. And your price, Steve, could be better if you use our code LB5 at checkout. You get 5% off your order, and you give a little kickback to us here at Lineage Break. Yeah. So thank you, as always, to Perfect Fit TCG for sponsoring the show. I'm full of energy drink right now, and I just like...
He's vibrating.
I'm out of my element. Man. If you guys didn't notice, none of the audio is real because we were having a bit of an issue with one of our pieces of equipment. So we've it should sound fine, but I swear to God, if you are in our comments and you say, "Ooh, the audio sounds a little bit weird today," I might just end it all. All right, so do me a favor.
Everyone knows that
just bear with it.
I'm going to be the first one in the comments.
I was going to say, I'm already going to post it. If I know it's going to get you miffed,
we're already there.
I have to do it myself.
Show's canceled. So, it's an exciting week for us here at Lineage Break. As of recording today is Friday, June 2nd, and today, our Fractured Crown spoilers went up. We put up our silly video at midnight today. It went over very well. Thank you again to Weebs of the Shore for giving us this opportunity. We are super, super blessed to be able to share some Fractured Crown spoilers with you guys, and we're super excited. I was getting all emotional editing the video. It's just, you know, it's a big deal, and like we're very happy about having this opportunity. But it also means that we are in the full swing of spoiler season. So we have a few spoilers to talk about. We had our regionals announcements last week, post the show. You can watch the show that we put out last week, and it ages not the best. I was watching that yesterday. It ages not terrifically well. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe there'll be a couple in New England.
Yeah, went sour real quick, huh?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But before we do any of that rigmarole, we get to do my favorite part of the show. Whereas we take people that are not used to being on camera and we make them feel awkward about being on camera. Hi, Mark.
What's up?
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the team.
I'm actually like not feeling that bad.
Well, yeah, it's better when you're talking to a human and not just a camera.
Yeah, like if you're recording to a camera, that's like awkward. But I mean, I did like streaming and stuff, and it was fine. So
you're a streamer.
Yeah.
So Mark, welcome to the Lineage Break team. Why don't you the way that Steve and I started the show, right? So our first episode was all about introductions, and we talked a little bit about our background with trading card games and how we ended up playing Grand Archive and stuff like that. So Mark, where do you come from? I hear that you're turning 16 this year, which is a big accomplishment for you.
It was actually 14.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I mean, I've been playing card games my whole life, right? Sure. Started playing Magic in 11, when I was 11, not in 11.
In 11?
In 11.
Were you 11 in 11?
No.
That's pretty close, though, right?
It actually must be close, because it was New Phyrexia.
Yeah,
I'm a Zoomer, so
that was like maybe literally 2011.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, nice,
dude. It didn't even fuck up, right?
Yeah,
I've been playing that my whole life.
Sure.
Kind of, off the wave a little bit, playing some Flesh and Blood.
Sure.
Obviously, I found Grand Archive, and Grand Archive is, it's the shit. So,
how'd you learn about the game? Was it just like somebody like posted a video or like?
No, I actually walked into an LGS that was carrying it.
Oh, really?
And I was like, hey, what's that? And they're like, this game came out 2 weeks ago. It was like a Kickstarter game. I was like, all right, give me a box. And then we pulled CSR Tristan.
Sweet.
And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, these cards look awesome.
$500.
I'm not fuming with rage or anything.
That's the only reason they're here, though. We're already entrenched. That's why the gotcha gods that want to deliver our CSRs have been so stingy.
They're holding out for the event pass.
I'm just saying. You have a Merlin.
Now listen.
I'm
all
the
right?
only one in Lineage Break that has not opened a CUR or a CSR.
You can take solace in the fact that Mark personally has not opened a CSR because it was Trenton that opened the Tristan.
Yeah, we technically split.
And the Mordred he bought.
I did buy the Mordred.
So.
Still part of the no CSR, no CUR club.
You want a Mordred?
No.
For sale.
Yeah.
I do not.
Find us on the Discord. So yeah, just Magic. You were never like a dabbler. This is your first time dabbling. It seems kind of wild that
Yeah.
you play
I mean,
Magic
when I was like a kid, I played like Pokemon and like the
Sure.
Naruto Bandai CCG, like the original one. But like we didn't actually play. Like
Sure,
we didn't
yeah.
know how it worked. Like,
yeah, I mean, I played like Duelist Kingdom rules of Yu-Gi-Oh when I was 10. You know, it's like you just play Blue Eyes on turn 1. And like that's actually not how the game works.
Yeah. I played
So-
like Bakugan. Does that count? Beyblades.
Sure, Beyblade.
Sure does.
Now we're cooking, right?
Is it up there?
They're in here somewhere. I have a whole Beyblade stadium at the store.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Are we
I
doing that
really
after the
do. Yeah,
podcast?
we can let it
Oh,
rip.
it's up there.
Yeah, you see it right there.
That's pretty sick.
We can let it rip.
That's actually pretty sick.
Monday night Beyblades at Webway Games in Marlborough, Massachusetts.
Do you actually?
No.
Oh, I was so hyped.
What
bro.
the fuck, Mark?
Dude, I was so hyped. I was like, that'd be fucking sick.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, for those who enjoy it, but there apparently is like a whole Beyblade.
We've read the whole competitive tournament document.
Yeah.
It's insane.
There's a whole Beyblade like scene still today.
Well, there's like a new point system or whatever in a new stadium that you have to use.
or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You can't do this whole podcast, man. They're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So what you're saying, Mark,
What am
is that I am either a great or terrible influence that you're now playing two whole different card games other than Magic in the past month.
I mean, like,
It's wild.
I
Just seems crazy.
started Grand Archive before you, right? I just found you, like, I found you through the game, right?
No. He's saying that like
Yeah, like he found it.
Not
with us.
before
No,
we
I know.
started.
Yeah, it's like, well,
Ugh.
slowly roll there, Mark.
Oh, you guys are like, well, you guys got Kickstarter boxes,
Yeah,
so that's a little too rich for my
We
blood.
didn't kickstart though.
It's a little too early for me.
They don't need to know.
We've said that
Yeah,
like
hundreds of
like 100 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just always I find it interesting when people, because usually when because like Steve and I are sort of, we always jump around from these small card games that nobody plays. Not Grand Archive, which is of course the most popular game in the world
Apparently.
now.
Can't buy
Sold out, so it has to be, right? Can't get any on the shelves, right?
But yeah, I'm always curious why people make the jump from, because so many people that play like the big three, you know, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, are so like.
entrenched in them.
Yeah, there's a word for it, and I can't remember. It's like tribalism, right? Like where they're like, this is my game, and this is the only game that I play, and everybody who doesn't play my game sucks because this is my game.
Oh no, I never had that, man. Because I played a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Sure.
I shouldn't even admit that, actually. That's
It's
tough.
okay.
That's tough. No offense.
No
Anybody that's
offense,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
no offense.
You know, it's okay. As a recovering Yu-Gi-Oh player,
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair,
we
I
already
played
knew
in
that.
person, so it's not as bad, right? I only played online.
Oh, like Master Duel.
Oh, before that, bro. Anyone? Dueling Network? Anyone remember that? That's
Dueling
old.
Network, Dueling Book.
That's old.
There's another one that I won't mention.
Yeah.
That
I feel uncomfortable, and I'd like to leave.
I
trapped in here
also
with me, man.
have 3 Yu-Gi-Oh apps on my phone currently because you
That's
know you
tough.
can't ever get
Steve,
rid
you
of.
got to move on.
You
all
can't.
right?
You can't. You know, I'm sorry, but you know, sometimes you just gotta chase the dragon for older card games.
Hey, so welcome to Lineage Break, a Grand Archive TCG podcast.
Yeah.
Let's just
Get back on
we'll
it.
just move on through the Yu-Gi-Oh trench and come
Yeah,
out
that's
on the
good.
other side.
Greener pastures over here. Let's get rid of.
So before we get a doomery, because listen, we try not to be doomers.
We're doomers.
I was trying to give the caveat that like I don't want to be, you know, I don't want us to be known as those hater people. We love Grand Archive. We love like almost everything they do, and anything that we are sad or disappointed about is out of, you know, pure love for the game, right? Anyways, before we get there, let's talk about spoilers that we're not disappointed about. Spoilers are cool and stuff,
Yeah.
or something, or whatever.
Or whatever.
So we were the second day of spoilers. We didn't actually kick off the season. The season of spoilers was kicked off by our dear friend Dan over at Main Deck. which gave us so before this week we had seen 4 of the CSRs. Is that correct? It's Merlin A and B, Lancelot, Krull, right?
Yep.
So 4 of the 7 or 8, however you take it. It's 7 if you don't count Merlin twice, because she has 2 different CRs. So Dan brought us the beautiful Majestic Spirit, which is like the key art for Fractured Crown. It's the Majestic Spirit crest. It's a big old dragon.
It's like
Definitely a flavor
It's
win.
like a deer, right? Like a big dragon deer.
Yeah, I guess so. He's not dragon typed. I guess Krull is dragon typed, right? He's
Yeah.
like
It's
got, like,
Avatar,
weird
right,
he is a
basically?
beast avatar, sir.
Yeah. The first ever Regalia ally,
Yeah.
which is like kind of crazy that it
Yeah.
goes into your material deck. How do we feel? But I have opinions. How do we feel about card? And of course, it's accompanying card. We'll try to throw all these up on the screen if I feel like editing. So we have this 12-drop Majestic Spirit, which is like virtually uncastable. But we have what's the name of the card, Steve? You have one up.
The Majestic Spirit? Or
The other one.
The other one? It is called Incarnate Majesty.
So Incarnate Majesty is another 12-drop, but thankfully it has efficiency. It's class bonus efficiency, but like you're gonna
it also
have it.
reduces cost for each regalia in your banish.
Yeah, so it like combos with stuff like Insoul. So you like play an Insoul, you put 5 swords in your banish. This costs 5 less. You're playing Merlin, obviously, because you're cultured,
Right.
and you're like probably like level 5 or something.
So you're paying like 2.
So it's
for it.
probably like a 2-drop to put this big idiot into play. So how do you guys feel? What do you feel about this card? These cards? Is there sort of a combo package?
Without seeing more, I think they're great
Yeah,
design-wise.
everything needs context, right?
But
like
currently, from just looking at it, I don't think I'm going to be playing these.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, it's like a big flavor win, right?
it's super cool,
Right,
I think,
I think Dan said it in his video. Like, if you're casting in Soul to get this out,
Right.
you should already have won the game.
yeah, it feels a little bit win more.
Right.
So I'm unclear. I hope that maybe there's a you play like some sort of like super win condition light deck, and then maybe this is the one that gets over the hump, right? Like you play maybe 2 copies of the card that puts it into play, and that should hopefully be enough to get over the hump, and,
Right.
and then maybe you can like cut down on cards like Insoul and all of these other like crux things, which do obviously like bog down your game plan in the early game. So if you're like planning to go long, or if it's like a very aggro heavy meta and you like really need those cards to not be dead cards in the early game, I could see it. Like when it sticks on the board, and especially against aggro decks, it does win you the game.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know. I was actually going to say the opposite. I think it actually like straight up doesn't win
Well,
the
I've-
game very hard.
So I don't think
It doesn't. I see what you're saying. It doesn't win you the game, but it makes the ally-centric aggro decks worse.
Yeah, I feel like at least in the current environment, like if you play any of the current aggro decks into that card, I think they do literally lose the game.
Yeah,
I don't think the control decks do. Like obviously Xander just like says, "I'll Excalibur your dragon, kill you."
Yeah,
but
do
like
it- do it
these
again.
decks that are like like these Fire Lorraine decks or
Right.
whatever that are like trying to 12 you with Rending Flames or Devastating Blows or whatever, you just like block. It is a 4/10 with intercept, or you just say, "Yeah, that's good," because it reduces all of the damage dealt to your champion by half. So it's like you attack me with a Rending Flame for 6, and it's like I'll take 3, which doubles to 6. And you don't really care.
Right.
But I don't know if that's enough, like to be this like, sort of like cork stopper against aggro decks that you only get to play when you're level 3. So like, it's the same thing, right?
Right.
Like if you haven't beat the aggro deck by the time that you're level 3 and resolving this card,
you're
probably
lost
already dead.
anyways.
Yeah.
My problem is it's just like it's not really what the game's like. It's a really cool design, but like what it actually does is not really what I think the game's about.
Sure.
Like it's a super late game, supposed to be game ending threat,
Right.
whereas like it doesn't actually just like beat the late game decks.
Right.
I'd rather be playing like the fractals and the new card that does damage for
Yeah, it's
fractals.
a strange thing where it doesn't feel like it is a potent threat against control, which is where you would want it, right? Like
Yeah.
if it had different keywords, I think this card very much reads like an aggro blunter, right? Like 4/10 with your hero takes half damage and you have Spell Shroud, like obviously just like bricks anybody playing Rye, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think this sort of uber late game card you want to be good against control. You want like this card to have Spell Shroud and some sort of, like way to protect itself so that you can stick this on the board and then sort of, keep your hand up and play control stuff to, just like poke your opponent with this for 4 every turn, sort of like how Xander will, like whittle you down by revealing Lightweavers. You want this to be your like supplement, right? Where you're just like attacking for 4 every turn, but they just like Excalibur it. And so, like, obviously it goes back to your material deck. It's, like, safe.
No, it doesn't.
Or, sorry, it goes to your banished because it's a Regalia, right? And the card gets it from banished. But the problem is you can't cast it, like, by itself. You need the other card to cast it.
Right.
So, like, the fact that it's recurable is true, but it's only really recurable when you have those 4 copies of the card in your deck. So, like, those 4 copies of the card in your deck are virtually just this card. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know how I feel. It's obviously very powerful when it's on the field, and I do think it's just a little bit difficult to pull off. Obviously, all of this context is important because we've seen 10 cards of the 90 card set,
right?
And we really don't even know what the meta is going to look like. We all sort of suspect that control is going to get a lot better, which is why we're like a little bit unsure about the viability of this dragon, avatar, but. Card's cool. I think the design is super neat.
Yeah, I love the CSR of it.
I think I'm much more excited for cards like this where I'm, like, unsure where it fits into the game than, like, spoilers that are just like, yo, this card's broken. Oh, sick, it's broken. It goes in every deck.
That's
you
fair.
know? I think it's cool when, like, hopefully this card finds a niche and finds, like, there's a Majestic Spirit deck, I think would be cool to sort of be divergent.
Well, you said it's good against Rye, like, so, I mean, maybe there's a world where you, like, sideboard.
It
You
is
don't have to
insane
sideboard
against
it,
Rye.
but, like, you'd sideboard the actual card that gets it out, and then you just bring it in when you're playing versus Rye, if you're playing, like, Water Merlin or something.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, they just can't beat this card, right? They have to... It doesn't protect itself, but, like...
They have to.
Like, it's
fireball for a lot to kill.
Right. Yeah, it's not like, somebody... that we'll talk about in a minute, that's like a little bit easier to play around. This is like, okay, you have to, like Arcane Blast me before you get to, Arcane Blast my hero, which is good. It's like basically just like having Sylvie Boots, right? That are like the one get out of jail free card. Yeah. It's like, all right, the first one you shoot at me is free, and then the rest of them...
Oh, you got 3 more. Oh,
right.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. All right. You
I apologize.
That's fine.
I apologize.
So yeah, super cool. After main deck spoilers, some absolute losers on the internet got to put out a couple of spoilers. That's us.
Hey, we did it.
And we made a very not cringe video, right?
It's the most. You're a great actor, Mark. It's just like. You stole the show, I think.
I was chugging those refurbishes.
You were. We got a couple of good takes. I think the one that ended up in the video is not the best take.
No,
because you couldn't hold
the
it
best
in.
take was the one right before that when it was
burst out
literally
laughing.
perfect.
It was so tough.
And then, like 2 seconds after we were about to end, you just died.
I couldn't do it. It was just too good. It absolutely broke my brain. But yeah, so
for this all week.
We have 2 spoilers to talk about.
And before blooper reels.
Yeah, I do have all of that. Yeah, tell us if you want that. I'll put it up. So we have 2 spoilers to talk about. The first is our beautiful Frostbinder Apostle, who is Lunette's best friend. They hold hands and skip through the ice together or whatever. I think is probably maybe less powerful than I initially thought that it is, but still I think kind of an absurd card. She's an 0/2 with intercept, so she sort of has that like library witch vibe where like she is only a blocker. She doesn't draw a card like library witch, but the really cool thing about this card is she has level 2 on play. She gives -4 health to a rested ally, so it turns her into like virtually Necrotol, which is pretty good, which means that she kills the thing when she comes into play for our non-magic players.
Yeah, it's just Chupacabra, right? It's pretty good.
Which is like something that we don't have, which is great, like interaction on a body, really, but especially not in water. Water is like very removal light, So I think it's huge. I think if this was like a fire card, I would be much less impressed because we already have like replaceable effects for that. But the fact that this is a water card, so when you're playing water, you have actual removal for some like troublesome.
Not only that,
allies.
But the -4 is huge.
It's a good break point for sure.
It's huge because you're not only are you removing something, but you're removing some of the strongest things in the game, like Phalanx Captain and like all those like
Sergeant
and all the stuff that like are hard to stick or hard to remove once they stick.
Yeah, it hits all of your breakpoints for sure. Yeah, it hits Phalanx Captains. It hits Frostbinders. It's or the other one, Paladin. Frostworn Paladin. Thank you. Yeah, all of these like 3/4 bodies, which is like basically our ideal stat line in the game right now is a 3/4 with text. And obviously Phalanx Captain being a lord. The only downside is like obviously since it is exactly -4, you do get blown out by favorable winds. It's not without interaction, which again is good for the game. Like we don't want the card to be actual Doomblade on a stick. You want your opponent to have some amount of agency, but I'm just unsure how much this is going to see play. It is a little bit narrow, and the fact that her text is level 2 is a little bit worrisome, I think.
I think if they put float on this, my worries
it'd be
would
broken,
yeah,
I think.
Well, just add floating memory to the bottom of this card, and
it's literally broken.
It's great.
Just giga busted. Yeah,
fantastic.
I agree. We can just write on the card.
I don't know. I actually think this is like one of the best cards they've shown.
I don't disagree. I think it's really strong. I'm just... Again, context is important, I think. It's hard for me to see right now where this is going. I've been playing a lot of, like, water mage control, which is, like, obviously very bad right now, so we're getting a lot of support for that. And I think that this is, like, probably a great fit into that. Obviously, like we said, she works great with Lunette, who makes all of your opponent's allies enter rested, and then, you play this, and Doomblade something is quite good. I'm just curious to see what the creature stat lines are going to look like going forward, because I know that the things that most people are excited for in FTC is stuff like the Majestic Spirit and Crawl and making Sylvie better, so you're playing a bunch of Tempest Silverbacks that are 6/6, So I wonder if things are going to start to outgrow this being like relevant bodies. Like this is going to come down and it's going to kill something, but like if that thing is relevant is unclear to me right now.
So hear me out.
It like kills an honorable Vanguard and you're like, ooh.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
I actually think this is like one of the best tempo plays in the game, which is like exactly what Grand Archive feels like it's about sometimes.
Sure.
Especially now before FTC comes out. So I think there's a world where like, I mean, I don't know if there's exactly a home for like a Water Warrior deck, but like,
sure.
If you could play Banner Knight, is Banner Knight class bonus? It is, right?
Warrior class bonus, yeah.
So you play like Banner Knight.
She's not though, so you
right.
can play Frostbinder and anything.
Yeah, so you just like, say you're playing like a Banner Knight, Lunette, this, whatever other cards we might be talking about soon.
Sure.
I feel like there's definitely a deck where you just turn this into a massive tempo swing and you like turn it into a 1/2 with your...
Right.
And that's just coming in for 5 damage. I mean, 4 of it's damage, right?
Yeah, I think
it's not real,
it's hard because we obviously have our internal biases.
Yeah.
But something that I've said in the Discord and surely on the show a bunch is how excited I am about the notion of playing Death and Taxes, which is for those of you who don't play Magic is a Magic archetype where you play lots of usually inefficient bodies, but that have text stapled onto them that makes it harder for your opponent to play the game. And you close out the game with your 2/1s and your 1/2s and these sort of like inefficient bodies that just have text stapled onto them. And obviously she's a great fit there, especially with something like Banner Knight, which actually allows her to deal damage in these sort of decks where you're trying to slow down your opponent already, and maybe that means that they only were able to your Win Lorraine opponent was only able to play like 2 creatures on their turn, and so this kills one of them. Obviously this card is worse when your opponent is able to play the game regularly. Like when you're playing against Win Lorraine, she's like, I just drew 16 cards and I'm going to put 5 creatures on the board, and you're like, I'll kill one, is like not obviously as effective as when they're sort of locked down. So we get, effects like Dawn of Ashes are going to, I think, maybe help this be like what Mark said, like a real big tempo swing. The only part that I think I'm worried about is it being level 2 text.
Yeah,
I'm worried about your opponent getting too far ahead, right, before this card becomes relevant. I think if this didn't have level 2 text, I think this card would be broken. If it's like your opponent plays their turn 2 player over here, like, I'll kill it. It's like huge. But like when you're a little bit later into the game, especially if you're on the draw, and your opponent got to like, they hit level 3 this turn, which means you're level 2, and you like play this, on your level 3 turn is less good, I think. But
I might be cooking a little too hard, but I think like some sort of water warrior with like Inspiring Call. Now I'm really
all right. Yeah,
Inspiring Call,
sure.
like Banner Knight.
I mean,
if you're going wide with like Lunette and like
I'm super here for it.
Frostworn Paladin, just all the like dorky.
And don't get me wrong.
Hate bears.
Any deck where we're playing Lunettes and Frostminer Apostles, I'm there. So I'm only dooming because I want people to think that our deck is bad.
Oh no, it's terrible.
Come on,
it's terrible.
Come on, Mark.
Sorry.
It's awful.
Yeah.
No one's gonna play it. Sell us your foils. Speaking of cards that no one is gonna play, that you should sell me.
Or me.
Your CSRs. We got the beautiful Blanche. She's my phone background. I feel some type of way. I'm so happy we can talk about Blanche. So Blanche Sheltering Saint is our CSR spoiler. She is a new cleric card. So is Frostbinder Apostle, if we didn't mention that. Thank you once again to our glorious devs for giving us the cleric cards. Thank you once again to our glorious devs for making cleric in set 3 a cute girl like I asked. Thank you for confirming that. It's 100% true.
Surely.
That's not
it's
true.
not.
So.
It's going to be an old man.
I'm so angry. So, Blanche Sheltering Saint is a 2-mana normal cleric ally, unique cleric ally, because she's named, of course. Mm-hmm. She has level 2 fast activation, which means that you can play her at fast speed if you're level 2. So she's a creature that you can play on your opponent's turn, which is crazy. And then she has an ability that says if another unit would take non-attack damage, they take less damage equal to the cards in your memory. And this is not something that I learned even after our spoiler video came out, because I can't read. You guys know I can't read. Reading comprehension is very tough. This is not a targeted ability. This is a static ability on Blanche, which is nuts. I was like, in my brain, I had it. It's like, oh, you target a dude and they like don't die. It's like, Doomblade protection, right?
No, it's just everything.
It's everything. It's so good. So this fits into that similar spot where we were talking about Majestic Spirit, where it's just like so heinous against Rye that you just like, I'm gonna fireball you, and you're like, all right, I got like 6 cards of memory. I'll just like play Blanche, and she's basically a Veiling Breeze for however many cards you have in your memory until they decide to deal with her. Mm-hmm. She's a little bit easier to deal with, obviously. Stuff like, you can just like throw a Creative Shock or something at her. I'm hoping that sweepers become more relevant, because she's just so gross against sweepers. Like Anger the Skies and Purging Flames. She just like saves your entire board. Because on resolution, she is still there, even though, she dies. She'll die for our sins, but she saves her whole board, which is nuts. So it depends. I mean, like, obviously we're sitting right now in the place where, like, the sweepers are Lorraine punching your head and, like, sweeping your board. Yeah. But we do, in FTC, have a lot of tech coming out to stop literally sweeping from happening, like cleave attacks. So I think hopefully, and maybe we get another like actual damage sweeper or two, hopefully that means sweepers take up more of the meta. And if they do, Blanche is just insane into sweep effects. So.
I think that's the make or break, right? Is if we get like the game slowing down like we think is going to happen, and hopefully it will happen because the aggro decks are a little tough right now. Yeah. Maybe we'll get more spot removal like Focus Flames or like you said, sweepers, and then Blanche is like crazy.
Think of a world where like the game slows down, and by nature that does actually make the aggro decks better, right? If we don't have enough tools to deal with them, right? Like you think about like Firezander right now, But like, if you wanted to, if you're a fire deck and you want to just like beat Fire Sander, which like people really aren't worried about right now because it's not like the Boogeyman deck, but you would just be like playing cards like Purge and Flames in your deck, right? That actually sweep the board. I guess that one's like efficiency for Mage, so it's a little bit harder to cast a non-Mage, but.
She would also just like eat Poison Dagger, right, and like really blow them out, because if they get hit, so you just blow them out.
Yeah. You activate Poison Dagger. You say, "I'll play a Blanche," and you're like,
nice blazing throw.
Yeah. Super, super great and so cute.
Well, that's the most important part, right?
I mean, it's a card, right?
And like, what are you gonna tell me, right? You're gonna tell me that this is our spoiler. It's our like first spoiler video, and we're like so excited, and I feel very like emotionally attached to this card. You telling me I'm not gonna buy TSRs, all of them, everyone on the market? I don't know, man, because I am. So you hit me up if you open a TSR pledge. Hit up your boy.
You're extra cursed today.
Help support. Yeah, I'm full of my electric Riz. We got Riz on point for Blanche. So hey, that's our spoiler. We're very excited about Blanche.
That one was real tough, bro. That was bad.
So after us, and thank you to our beautiful friends in Australia for putting out their spoiler just in time for us to
talk about it.
Talk about it on the show.
Thank you for being ahead of us in time and putting it out at midnight.
Yeah, which was like 10 a.m. our time. So our beautiful friends Limelight and Gasmus over at Creative Shock put out their spoilers, which are both. It's so tough. It's just like so tough to live in this world that I live in. It's so tough. We'll get there, I guess. So, Steve, I don't have these cards in front of me. You want to take it away for me?
Yeah. So I only have one of them at the moment.
I'll give the other one.
Stalwart Shieldmate. It's a 2-drop 0/2 with Taunt and Floating Memory. This card is just straight up good. It's just clear replacement for.
Steve, this card is fucked.
I'm trying to just slow roll it for a bit, but yeah, this card is just absolutely insane.
It lives in that perfect blend between Honorable Vanguard and Library Witch.
Right.
Swift Recruit who? Like, get out. Just like.
And Cute Girl, like.
It's so good. I just can't see how, especially, like, again, we were talking about, like, the game slowing down. Taunt is just such a crazy mechanic.
We've been on this whole, like, I'm going to play Cleric, I'm going to play Sylvie. I might play Guardian.
Guardian player?
I might, that 30 life.
Hey, that's fine, Steve. Get out of my lane, all right? Like,
that 30 life is looking good. And
yeah. Allegedly. Yeah,
this is looking good.
I think it's so nuts. I just, like, think about a world where, like, you have these permanents you want to protect, right? We're getting so many more permanents that you want to protect, and we'll talk about another one in a second, where you play this card, and you just, like, have a deflecting itch in your hand. It's like, how do they beat that? They're like, well, I have to attack this. I'll attack it for 2. You're like, no, you won't. And they're like, I'll attack for 2 again, I guess. But, like, that's probably all the damage they were doing this turn. Like, it's not a high-damage game. It's not like most people are outputting 8-9 damage on every turn. They're like, I have 5 damage to throw around somewhere, and they have to throw it here first. You play a deflecting edge, you get just absolutely butt blasted. It's just like
I think the crazy thing is that it protects other creatures.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you just like protect your permanents on board, right?
That's
like,
just so gross.
You have your Lunette on board, or you have your person we'll talk about in a moment, right? And you're like already locking them down, and then you play this idiot, and they're like, well, I have to kill it. And they're like, do you?
Can you?
They're like, well, thankfully I have this, freezing hail in my hand to kill your taunt. And then you're like, I'll play a Blanche.
Yeah, you just play Blanche. It's perfect.
So tough. I think this card's nuts. I think this is like mandatory staple in anybody who is not trying to kill you on like turn 3.
Yeah.
So good.
But there you go. Like another reason where I'm like thinking Guardian cards might be a thing because
yeah,
block. Oh, Blanche. Ooh.
Right.
Whew.
So
real good.
Normal too, which is great. Yeah. Works in our Dawn of Ashes deck. You know, it's pretty good. Speaking of 2-drops that are normal and broken,
this next one is my favorite.
Woo! So the CSR that our beautiful friends over at Creative Shot got to share is Morgan Soul Guide, who is a 2-mana normal cleric mage unique ally that comes signed.
Don't flip this table.
God.
There's too much equipment here, and my coffee is still here.
She's a 1/3 for 2. It's a great body. She's got a great body.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cam, calm down.
Woo! It's that Riz. It's flowing through.
Where is that squirt bottle?
And she just has too much attack. So Morgan has level 1, prevent all non-attack damage that would be dealt to Morgan. So get the fuck out of here, Blanche. She doesn't need it. She's safe. Can't ever sweep her. You have to physically attack her unless you have card with taunt in play. She has level 2 plus your opponents can't recover. See you later, Xander. You don't get to play the game anymore. Sayonara, nerd. What are you gonna do? Light Rivers Assault it? No, you're not. You have removal in your deck.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna have to spend an Excalibur on my 2-mana 1/3.
Yes.
And that's why does it have so much text? It has class bonus at the beginning of your recollection phase. You may glimpse one if you don't recover one. What?
Who designed this card?
Who did this?
I really think this is the best card in the set.
It's insane.
It's not even close.
I guess we haven't seen them all, but this card's
oh, surely there's nothing better, right?
So nuts. I'm blown away. I don't know.
It shuts down Xander and it shuts down aggro because
yeah, it shuts down.
You're recovering and they have to attack. Yeah, it's
so good. Yeah, so it shuts down to the control deck, right? Because you actually just get to chip away Xander, and as long as you have one of these, their Luxem sites don't do anything. They also very rarely can remove it because currently all of their removal is non-attack damage based. Shuts down aggro abuse. It just says recover 1 every turn against the aggro decks, and it's a 1/3 body, which is fairly difficult for them to get through, especially if you have any interaction, which surely you do. It's wild.
Ascent is going to be a very fun time.
And what I meant, keep getting real close to the camera, is because I don't have a mic in my face. This is it's dangerous. I'm unleashed. I have too much space. This card's terrible. If you have any CSRs, you let me know. It's absolutely god awful. I'll take them off your hands. $20 a pop. Because nobody's going to play this card because it's terrible.
We might be competing a little bit on this one.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. So those are all of our spoilers that we've gotten so far. We're in high spirits today. We have a lot more coming. Spoiler season lasts, I think, all the way through the 10th, and today is the 3rd. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. I know Kellen over at Red Zone Rogue, his is tomorrow. We're very excited for that. I know that who else is on the list? Shinja, he has his this week. I know Andy from Yeti Gaming has his on his podcast this week. And then I think Siladar's doing some spicy stuff at the end. So we have lots of good stuff coming up. Oh, James Lockwood of the Haven, they have one for Recollection as well. So many spoilers to talk about. So next week we should have most of them. Today's the 3rd, so next week today's the 2nd.
So we'll have everyone but one.
Yeah, we'll have most of them next week. So it'll be a much bigger spoiler episode next week, but we've been here for 25 minutes talking about 6 cards. So yeah, spoilers are neat. One thing that we wanted to touch on now that we've gotten all of our positivity out of the way, we can get our negativity out of the way as well. The regionals have been announced for Grand Archive. We talked about the announcement of the OP stuff last week, but we didn't have the dates or anything for regionals. So there are 7 regionals that are coming for the game in places that are unfortunately none of them near us. We are truly getting punished for being bad American citizens, and you have a way to travel, but Steve and I don't have passports.
I did. Mine expired in January.
Oh, okay.
Even with it, it's not good. 8 hours is a long drive.
So the closest that we could go is the one in Ontario, but we cannot cross the border because, we're a flight risk or something because,
We're Americans.
We're Americans, which is understandable.
Yeah, I don't blame anyone.
Yeah,
but,
you don't.
And then, other than that, it's like, Andy at Yeti Gaming's running one in Missouri, which, is 20 hours away by car.
Well, I mean, that's the one we're going to, right?
I logistically, honestly, guys, like, it's not that bad. I've already done this once. We split it over, like, 2 days of driving.
You're taking, like, 2 days off. That's tough, right?
I mean, for me, it's not, but I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have, like, a real job. I work here. It's, like, not... Just, like, work here or whatever.
Or whatever.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
It's still tough. It's a long drive. And
like I said, I said this to Mark the other day, I'm a passenger princess, so, like, I don't give a shit. Like, if we're going to do it, you let me know. I'm in, but, like, it shouldn't be up to me, so... Okay. Kind of sad though. Looking like the boys aren't hitting the regionals. No Stillwater patrol mats for the team, which is understandable. I get it. Like, it's hard to plan these events, and they only have so many resources. Hopefully, for FTC, we can get one up in New England, maybe at dear old Webway Games, or somebody around the area. I know, like, Unison Games has a great crowd over there, and they're in, like, CT. It's not so bad. But yeah, so it looks like we're on store champs here at the store. We're gonna I'm gonna reach out to some LGS owner friends of mine and try to see if I can get other people to run some store champs too, so that hopefully we can get those coveted nationals invites and get the boys on the way to nationals.
The first season of regionals is only a couple months, right? So maybe next season of regionals we'll get a little something out here.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even think about like, I always think of things in the terms of, like, Flesh and Blood, right? Where, like, you only get one chance to qualify for nationals each year, but you do make a fair point that I think they're all just qualifiers for nationals at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which I think is post ALC. I'd have to check the schedule again. It might be around the ALC launch, but we will at least also have the Fractured Crown season to get our nationals invites through store champs and hopefully regionals somewhere near us as well. And Ascent, of course, that we're
all gonna
winning.
Yeah. It's third place tie for first.
Taking Mordred to the top.
I'm looking for the 3-way tie for 256. That's what we're aiming for, and I think we have a good chance at it. So, yeah, I don't know. That's all I had. Is there anything you boys want to touch on before we skirt on out of here?
I believe Mark wanted to talk about a $500 problem that we've been seeing on the internet.
It's real good for the people who went to the event, but it's real bad for my wallet. All the Honshu mats, all really expensive, real quick.
True, con exclusives, right?
Yeah,
like they go real quick.
Someone made a post for a couple Arthur mats. I think they were like $250 or $200 or something, and I answered in 5 minutes. I DM'd the guy. I was like, man, I'm just going to do it. Surely no one got there before me. Nope, they're both gone. 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy. The demand is huge. I mean, obviously Honshu does great work.
Beautiful work.
And the play mats are gorgeous.
I've been just staring at that Nia mat, and I know I can't have it. I know
so
it's
much
not.
Money, man.
I know it's not in my future, but God, is it a nice looking mat.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if anyone wants to sell me one, any Arthur mat.
Name your price. He will pay.
I'm here.
Welcome to just DM us at Lineage Break. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
We can give you a shout out or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, don't even.
Bottom of the barrel
Jesus
for that one.
Christ.
I know, that's tough.
We let the man on the show one time. He's like, I'll trade you for clout. None of that bullshit.
No, we're not going to do that.
We will give you a shout out, though. All right, I think that's all we have. Everybody, thank Mark for coming on the show. Woo.
Yeah, we did it.
We should hopefully have some cool stuff being done by both Mark and Trenton, who could not be here today. He is playing some other game that we don't like to talk about in another place. Whatever. I'm like not pressed about it. We will hopefully have some content coming from Mark and Trenton as well on the channel. We did some recording the other day that Mark is very proud of.
Oh, no. No.
And of course, you can look forward to us being on the podcast back every week. We will be back next week talking about spoilers and stuff. We are planning to hopefully be streaming our locals soon. So soon, TM. Keep an eye out on all of our socials and stuff. I'm going to try to use my Twitter. I did get a reminder from Zilladar at 4 a.m. Last night to be like, you should post your spoiler on Twitter. And I was like, oh, right. Yeah. I should do that. That's a fair point. So I'm going to try to use our social media. You can follow us down on Twitter in the description below. Of course, we will leave our Discord names as we always will. We'll put marks on there now, too. And make sure to check out all these beautiful people doing spoilers. There's a whole announcement schedule on the GA Discord, but make sure to watch everybody's spoiler video. They're all great. Dan did a great analysis video about the Majestic Spirit. I think a bunch of the other boys are doing stupid skits like we did. So
the Creative Shop
very
one was
excited,
real good.
very excited for all of these goofy skits. So make sure to go check all of those guys out. We'll leave some links in the description for those as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, boys.
Thank you.
And
as
being
always,
on the show.
Thank you to Perfect Fit Gaming for sponsoring us.
Perfect TCG,
Perfect
baby.
Fit TCG. I mess it up sometimes.
Yeah, whatever.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Say bye, Mark.
Bye.
Perfect.